last part of this, so you work with brushes and you can define them. Now we're gonna kind of see some other tools really quickly. So I want you to open up your landscape image. So let's go to, I'm gonna just pull up my mini bridge and bring out the landscape. And again, I'm going to do Command H to hide my information. And actually, I don't even need my brush presets, so you need to close it. So now, what I want you to see is what is the difference between using, like what would selection do? What would, so we can actually work with some selections really quick. And you have different kinds of selections. One of those you can have is called the Lasso Tool. I was wondering what Candy was doing. Yeah. Lasso Tool. And we can actually select different things. Now I want you to keep in mind that Lasso Tool, originally when I started working with Photoshop, you didn't have all the other options of polygonal magnetic lasso. The Lasso Tool will allow you to select something really freehand. So it's not the most detailed selection. Look what I'm doing. I want you to just see for now. Because later, you do it, probably next week we will discuss it more. But you notice how it's such a great selection? Like, woohoo, I can move it now. And you can always add to it. So by holding like Shift, it will add to your selection if you mess up. My hand is so steady right now. Just doing the best job ever. And I can, if I do this, you're probably like, what happened? Okay, I need to add this to a selection too. I can go ahead and move this by using my Move tool. See what happens? Just cut it out. Now, this is one way of selecting it. Another way is using your Polygonal Lasso tool, which really works well with geometric shapes. But it's a pain in the... And I don't want to say but, because but sounds too nice of a word for this one. It is, because Lasso can be one of those tools that keeps going and going, and you want it to stop, and you're like, ah! And that's what happens. Trust me, it will happen to you. Happened to you before?
I hate
Yeah.
that.
Exactly. So it's a pain in the... So the trick is, if this is happening to you, and you're like, oh my god, that Lasso is continuing, then you want to double click in place. That's the only thing that's going to save you. If you just keep moving, this is going to happen. And notice my selection really is awesome. So double click in place will save you. The next one is the magnetic lasso tool. You know, first when it came out, I was happy. Then I started using it. I realized it's not as great as I thought. Because what it does is follows your kind of your hand. Magnetically, it's reading the pixels, the colors in your pixels. And if they're like, notice what it's doing. It's following like magnet. And it's selecting what it wants. Like, no. And it's going and going and... Great job there. And then you always have to double click it. But notice my selection, if I move this was it. This is really detailed. If you do something like this for advertisement, you're gonna fail. But keep those in mind. You'll be doing that in a book anyway. Next, my favorite too, a quick selection tool and magic wand. Quick selection is relatively new tool comparing to other ones. And when it came out, it was like godsend. It was like, wow, you know, one of those moments, aha moments. Just the tool. I know, I get excited about Photoshop. Because it allows you to quickly select colors. So you can actually select, this may not seem like a quick thing. It depends on the brush size too, and what you're selecting. It's going to read the pixels. Notice that. That's awesome. So you think, but I want to select the tree. I'll keep clicking on the tree. But look how quickly it's selecting it for me. And you can always play with it with the brush. But look at that. My background is selected. Now, there's some, you know, small things you have to select too. Magic Wand is similar, but not identical to Quick Selection. Because Quick Selection, you can just click on it to add. Magic Wand, anytime you unclick it, it's going to select something else. You see what I mean? And it's kind of different on interpreting the color. Right. Oh, I just closed my file. That was so good I closed it. So those are some tools to use. You need to pause. So what you're going to be doing now is, Lasso, forget that right now. But what you're going to be doing is selecting, actually duplicating this tree, right? So this tree we need to duplicate. And there is a tool called Clone Stamp Tool. What it does, it just makes a duplicate selection. Duplicate, just clone. So if you want to have a twin, this is one to use. And I will increase my brush size from 35, and you can see that file is pretty big. 35, because I'm just gonna take me forever, and we don't have to do a detail work on this. I used to do 95, that's fine. And what you do, and it's kind of weird, because if you just click, it won't work. You actually have to use your Option key. Just notice what I'm doing, because you won't have time to finish. And select an area. Now, this is a trick that I've learned helped me the most, is pay attention to what you're selecting. At the same time, pay attention where you're putting it. So don't start in the middle, otherwise you're going to mess up. So if I want to start in the bottom, I'm going to select the bottom part. And then look, I'm going over here, and then I'm la 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 la. So I'm doing this now. I'm making a duplicate copy. I just wish my other cursor came back, because I cannot see where I'm at. So what you're going to do is be duplicating the tree. Not nice? You can keep going. You can stop. Now, because of this, the way we're doing it, we don't have to change the clone, resample it. So you can keep going until it's all selected. So we have now created a duplicate copy of the tree. Now obviously the background still needs some blending, but we have a copy. And look, we put some grass on there too. Yeah, some grass. Now, there's another tool that may seem similar as your clone, but it's not. It's called the Healing Brush Tool. The Healing Brush Tool is more of a healing brush which does retouching. But look at this, what I'm doing. You're going to be doing that too. It will act same thing as you did with a clone tool. When you select, again, I'm going to increase this size. And I'm selecting the bottom part. See that? I'm sampling it. And I'm going to put it on the side here. Notice, does it look like almost the same thing? Right. You may think like, look sharper. Well, look in a minute what's going to happen. So no, this thing is perfect. My tree is pretty. What it's going to do is going to read the colors in the image you sample with the background. And it's going to analyze it. And it's going to crash now. Disappear. It's a big file. And look what happened. It's not the same. Because what it's doing is sampling the color values from the sampling and the background and analyzing that. Alright? So when you do this one, you need to be saving this file. And we're going to change, before you save it, you actually will change the size of this. It's too big. So we're going to go image size, and we will make it a little bit smaller, more friendly for web. So guess what? What do I need to change for web? Yes. Do I have to uncheck this or not? No, don't uncheck anything. We're not going to make it bigger. So 72. That's a good size. And you think it's like, that's tiny. Well, my viewing size is not tiny. My viewing size is 33%. So it's still, so this is 100%. And you will save that file. And guess what? What do you think you're going to name it? Lab. Yes. 6. And it's going to be D, you said? C, D. Yes, D. Now, when you submit your files, guess what you're not going to include in your folder? You're only going to include the files you worked on. So what is not going to be included? Some originals. So don't forget that you received some originals. So you're not going to use the JPEG. So the couple is going to go away. The variety JPEG is going to go away. We haven't used Lasso, so we can remove it. Okay? So I hope you get a feel for this. And at home, I also want you to practice with the selection tools, because we will discuss it next week. Right? Any questions? We are done. So save that and we are done. Yeah.